Oh my goodness, it's time to learn about fall animals, the creatures we think of during the fall season. We're learning about raccoons and foxes, farm animals like horses and turkeys, gobble, 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 and nighttime creatures like owls and bats, and more. So come along with me on this fun adventure as we learn about some of the awesome animals of the season. You know what? Let's start by learning about raccoons. Raccoons! I love raccoons. This is going to be so cool. Whoa, this raccoon is looking right at us. We're going to learn all about you. Wait, where are you going? All right, raccoons are small mammals that usually have gray fur, except around their eyes. They have black fur around their eyes, which almost makes it look like they're wearing a black mask. They have whiskers, just like Mr. Whiskers. How you doing, Mr. Whiskers? And they have bushy tails. What do you notice about their tails? Yeah, their tails have these black rings on them. You're right. So raccoons are small mammals. Raccoons usually have gray fur. They have black fur around their eyes, which almost makes it look like they have a mask on. And raccoons have bushy tails with black rings on them. Raccoons are pretty easy to spot. Now, where in the world do raccoons live? Where can you see one? Raccoons mostly live in North America, especially in Mexico, the United States, and Canada. They can also be seen in Europe, parts of Asia, and other parts of the world, but they are originally from North America. Just don't expect to see one in Antarctica, okay? Even though it would be really cool if raccoons were able to hang out with penguins in Antarctica. At least I think so. It's just too cold there, though. Now, raccoons are able to live in lots of different places. They enjoy living in the forest, they can live near rivers, they can even live in cities and neighborhoods. In fact, you might see a raccoon near your home. But even if you don't see them, that doesn't mean raccoons don't live near you. See, raccoons are nocturnal. Do you know what the word nocturnal means? Nocturnal. Yeah. They are active at night and sleep during the day. Great. When I think of nocturnal animals, I think of bats and owls. They are nocturnal too. Raccoons are nocturnal animals, which means they are active at night and sleep during the day. Even though they're nocturnal, you can still see a raccoon during the day sometimes. But usually, raccoons sleep during the day and are awake at night. Hey, I just want to pause everything just for a moment here. Before we continue, I just want to put the word raccoon up here. I want to point something out to you real quick, okay? Notice the word raccoon has two C's, not just one. There are two C's in the word raccoon. If you were to write a letter to a raccoon, all right? Dear raccoon, just make sure there are two C's in the word raccoon. It's a common spelling mistake to put just one C in the word raccoon. And honestly, the raccoon might not know the difference, but it's nice to spell it correctly, you know? It's a good thing. It's good for all of us. All right, this next fact is one of my favorites because it has to do with baby raccoons. That's right, baby raccoons. Did you know a baby raccoon is called a kit? Yeah, a kit. Isn't that amazing? Aw, look at this little kit. It's similar to what we call baby cats, except it's shorter. A kitten, a kit. Mother raccoons usually have more than one kit at a time. Here are 4 little kits taking a nap together. Wow, they're pretty cute. They're pretty cute. Here's another interesting fact about raccoons. Raccoons are omnivores. Do you remember what that means? Omnivores. Omnivores eat plants and animals. Raccoons eat all sorts of things, which is what helps them live in so many different areas. Raccoons are omnivores. That means they eat plants and animals. Okay, here is the final raccoon fact for this video. Raccoons are great swimmers. Did you know that? They are tremendous swimmers. They can swim for a long time and can go as fast as 3 miles per hour. That's pretty interesting. Some people don't know that raccoons are good at swimming. It's like a raccoon secret. I mean, not for you, because, well, now you know. You know they are great swimmers. Wow, you did such a wonderful job learning about raccoons with me. I hope you had a lot of fun. And if you ever see a raccoon out and about, you could say hello from a distance and could say, "Hey, I know a few things about you, raccoon. I hope you find all the food you want, and if you go swimming later, have an awesome time. Be safe, raccoon. Keep being cool." Raccoons, an amazing animal many of us think of when we think of the fall season. Well, we're going to continue this learning adventure by looking at the next fall animal. Next, we're going to learn about foxes. Yes, foxes. Foxes are mammals that have triangular ears. That means their ears look like triangles, a pointed nose, whiskers, and a bushy tail. Amazing looking creatures. What do you think? Does the fox belong to the same family as dogs or cats? Go ahead and look at this fox in this picture and make a guess. Does the fox belong to the same family as dogs or cats? What do you think? Go ahead and guess. Alright, let's see if you're right. Let's see. The fox is actually part of the same mammal family as dogs. Yes! Foxes are in the dog family. It can be a little bit confusing because foxes look so much like cats. They have whiskers like cats, their slender bodies are like cats, their eyes are like cats, they got the tail that's kind of like cats, their ears are kind of like cats. Very, very similar to cats, but they are actually part of the dog family. So when you think, oh, a fox is part of the dog family. Aw, family. Here's two family members just taking a break. The dog is about to sleep, and here's a fox. It's just catching a nap. They probably don't know their family, but they are. They're like long-lost family. They're all part of the same family, the dog family, and it's special. And they don't know it. They don't know it. If you ask a fox, hey, do you know you're a dog? Do you know you're part of the dog family? The fox doesn't know. But maybe deep down in their hearts, when they take naps, they might dream. They might dream and they might dream we're part of the same family. Okay, back to the foxes. It's interesting. Foxes are just a little smaller than a medium-sized dog. They're not too big, but they're not too small. They're like medium-sized animals, a little smaller than a medium-sized dog. It's pretty cool. A male fox is called a dog. Huh, it makes sense. They're part of the dog family. A male fox is called a dog. But a female fox is called a vixen. So a male fox is a dog, and a female fox is called a vixen. What about the babies, right? What about the babies? Well, baby foxes are called pups. Kind of like baby dogs are called puppies. Baby foxes are called pups. Here are some gray fox pups. I know, super cute gray fox pups. All these pups, incredibly cute. Did you know foxes can hear so well? They've got like superhero hearing skills. But how well can foxes hear? Well, foxes have incredible hearing. They can hear a watch tick from 40 yards away. Oh my goodness, 40 yards away. Think about how amazing that is. When a watch ticks, it's very soft. Tick, 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 tick. From 40 yards away, a fox can hear that. Oh my goodness. So if there's a fox anywhere nearby, they can hear you. Whoa, wow, they're amazing creatures, but where are they found? Where do foxes live? Well, it's cool. Foxes are found all over the world. They can live in any ecosystem, even in deserts, even in the Arctic. Foxes are found all over the world. There are 37 types, but some of those have gone extinct, but there are still tons of types, and they're all over the world. They are also social creatures and have packs just like dogs, but unlike a lot of other dogs, foxes hunt alone. Here's a fox hunting all alone in the snow, and they are great hunters. Foxes are amazing hunters. In fact, foxes are known for being very smart and tricky. And they're not always the hunters. They are often hunted, but are good at avoiding capture. Foxes are featured in many stories and books as tricksters, and sometimes the fox is a symbol of being tricky, of being a trickster. Here's a picture from an old book where the character has the face of a fox, which is a symbol that this character is very tricky, is a very tricky character. It's interesting. Can you think of a story that has a tricky fox in it? There are a lot of them out there. Foxes are medium-sized mammals in the dog family that are found all over the world and are known for being smart and tricky. Great job learning about foxes. Wow! Now is a great time to stretch real quick. All right. Now, during the fall season, a lot of people enjoy visiting farms, okay? The next few fall animals are animals you might see at a farm. Let's start by learning about turkeys. Yeah, turkeys. See, turkeys just aren't your ordinary birds, all right? Look at this turkey, okay? Turkeys are very interesting birds, all right? Very interesting. Here's the thing, we can't promise you will love turkeys after watching this video. What we can promise is that if you pay attention and collect all of these amazing facts, you will be a turkey expert. That's right. Now think about that, a turkey expert. How many turkey experts do you know? Not many, that's for sure. So let's get started with this fact. Turkeys are really large birds. It's true, they are really large birds. They are huge. Domestic turkeys are the 8th largest living bird species by weight. These are massive birds. So turkeys are big birds, and that's the first fact that you can just go ahead and put in your pocket. We mentioned that domestic turkeys are the 8th largest living bird species by weight. Good job, turkeys! You might be wondering, what is a domestic turkey? That's a good question. Well, domestic turkeys are turkeys that are raised and taken care of by people. These two turkeys are domesticated. They're just hanging out. They're being raised and taken care of by people. They're having a good old time. They look super cool. I wonder if the chicken feels left out, though. You know, come on, turkeys, include the chicken. The chicken is cool, too. Okay, include the chicken. The chicken's left out. So what about turkeys that are not domesticated, that are just outside, you know, in nature, in the wild? Well, those are wild turkeys. That's right. Their name makes sense. Wild turkeys. Here's our next fact. There are about 7 million wild turkeys in the world. It's true. And they're huge too, though most of them don't get quite as big as domestic turkeys. But still, there are 7 million of them. 7 million wild turkeys, and they're pretty big too. They're huge birds. You have to love how this turkey seems to know her picture is being taken. She's like, "What? You're just gonna take a picture of me? Is this how the afternoon is gonna go? Really? You're just gonna, without asking, you're gonna take a picture of me, okay? Is this how it's gonna go? You know? That's crazy. You didn't even ask. You didn't even ask." Wild turkeys are different from domestic turkeys not only because they're usually a little smaller, but they also move more quickly. They fly faster, though they stay pretty close to the ground when they fly. You don't see a turkey flying real high in the sky. If you do run, that's like crazy. You know, they fly pretty close to the ground. But wild turkeys are usually faster. They fly faster than domestic turkeys. So turkeys are big. There are turkeys that are domesticated, that means they're raised by people, and there are wild turkeys. And you don't have to worry about turkeys going extinct. There are about 7 million wild turkeys in the world. Are we good so far, turkey expert? All right, awesome. You're doing a great job learning. Now it's time for a brief history of domestic turkeys. Now, compared to many other animals, turkeys are new to this domesticated stuff. Turkeys have been domesticated for only about 2,000 years, which might sound like a lot, but compared to many other animals, that's not that long. Turkeys were domesticated in ancient Mexico, most notably by the Aztecs. And there's a chance that turkeys were domesticated in other nearby areas as well around the same time. Turkeys are native to North America. While most other farm animals came from other parts of the world, the turkey is originally from North America. That is part of why Benjamin Franklin preferred that the turkey become the national bird of the United States instead of the bald eagle. Benjamin Franklin called turkeys true original native birds of America. Benjamin Franklin also called turkeys birds of courage. That's right, birds of courage. Have you ever thought of turkeys as courageous birds before? Are turkeys really birds of courage? The answer to that question is yes. Turkeys bravely defend themselves from predators if they are cornered or are in danger. They aren't afraid to bite predators with their beaks, run into predators using their huge bodies, or to even kick predators with their legs. If you see a turkey, especially a wild turkey, it is important to give that turkey space so that the turkey doesn't feel threatened. These birds of courage aren't afraid to chase people away if they don't feel safe with you around. Now we are going to learn 2 really fun words related to turkeys. You might laugh when you hear these words. They sound very silly, but you're going to love this, okay? Especially since you are a turkey expert, you need to know these 2 words. See this part of the turkey? It hangs from the forehead of turkeys from the top of the beak. It is called the snood. That's right, the snood. That's a silly word. Can you say snood? Yeah, snood. Every turkey expert needs to know the word snood. So the next time you see a picture of a turkey, ask a grown-up if they know what that thing is that dangles over a turkey's beak. See if they know it is called a snood. The second fun word is also a part of a turkey. You could see it right here. Did you know this part of a turkey is called the wattle? Wattle! That's a great word. Wattles are around the neck of a turkey. Other animals have wattles as well, not just turkeys, but turkeys have some pretty cool ones, right?
So those are our two new fun words related to turkeys, snood and wattle. And notice wattle has two T's in the middle, just in case it ever lands in like a spelling quiz or something. Okay, now we have a question for you. We need your help. What do turkeys say? Give your best impression of a turkey real loud. What do turkeys say? Wow. That was awesome. Thanks for helping. You know, turkeys are famous for that gobble sound, but did you know only male turkeys gobble? That's right, only male turkeys gobble. So if you see a turkey that is gobbling, you know that it is a male turkey. And of course, with all turkeys, it's good to make sure that you give that turkey enough space, because they like to have space, you don't want them to feel threatened.
Awesome job learning about turkeys! Whoa! Let's stay at the farm to learn about the next animal we may think of when we think about fall. Horses. Horses. Horses are large domesticated mammals that are incredibly strong and smart. Do you know what the word domesticated means? It's a good question. What does the word domesticated mean? Domesticated means to be kept as a pet or on a farm. Now that doesn't mean that all horses are domesticated, but in general, horses are domesticated mammals. While horses in general have been domesticated, there are some horses that live in the wild. Horses that live in the wild are called feral horses. So where do horses live? That's a great question. Where can you find horses? It's incredible. Horses live all over the world. Yeah, all over the world you can find horses, except places like, Antarctica. That's where the penguins live. Oh, little penguins, cute and small, you're not very big at all. At least compared to horses, right? Look at these little guys. So horses pretty much live all over the world. And this is incredible. There are about 60 million horses in the world, okay? About 60 million horses in the world. Hey, just as a fun thing, sometime today, ask somebody, say, how many horses do you think there are in the world? And they're going to be like, I don't know, nobody knows that. And you'll say, hey, about 60 million horses. 60 million. Take that fact with you, put it in your pocket, you're going to love it. Now you have to check this out. It's so fascinating. Baby horses are called foals. Isn't that interesting? Baby horses are called foals. Foals are fascinating. Did you know they can stand shortly after birth and can even run just 2 hours after birth? 2 hours after they're born, they can literally run. Now, it's a very wobbly run, but they can run shortly after being born. It's absolutely incredible. A young female horse is a filly. Yeah, isn't that a neat name? A young female horse is a filly. A young male horse is a colt. Yeah, they're called colts. After its first year, a horse is called a yearling. That makes sense. After a horse has been around for a year, you call the horse a yearling. Once a horse is 2 years old, that horse no longer is considered a yearling. After a horse passes that 2-year mark, that horse is still considered either a colt or a filly. And then, once a filly is older than 4, she is called a mare. And once a colt is older than 4, he is called a stallion. Let's summarize this with a simple chart. Ooh, the color gray, how fancy. So a young male horse, a colt, grows up to be a stallion, a grown-up male horse. A filly, a young female horse, grows up to be a mare, a grown-up female horse. With all of this growing, horses must eat a lot of food. Food must be really important to them. And food is, but they might not eat the things that you might think they eat. Horses are herbivores. The word herbivore means an animal that eats plants. Horses are herbivores. Horses eat plants, though they can be trained to eat meat, and if they're in a circumstance where they have to eat meat for survival, they will, or if they're given meat over a regular period of time, they could be like, oh, this is food too, but they are herbivores. They are animals that naturally eat plants. They love plants. They could be so healthy and so strong without ever having to eat meat. Next, we want to talk about horse eyes. Yeah, this is a big eyeball of a horse. Their eyes are absolutely amazing. Of course, your eyes have to be uncovered for you to see. Somebody get a comb. The horse can't. The eyes are covered. The eyes are covered. This is like the worst picture for us to show. When we're talking about the eyes, we can't even see the eyes of this horse. A horse's eyes are amazing. They can see in just about every single direction except directly behind them, and interestingly enough, directly in front of them. Which, if that doesn't sound impressive, it definitely should, because they can literally see every single direction other than those. I mean, they can see just about everything. Their eyes are amazing. But seriously, kids, do not stand directly behind a horse. That is totally serious, because the horse can't see there, and if that horse hears a sound that you make, that horse could actually kick you and hurt you, and the horse doesn't want to hurt you. So please, do not stand directly behind a horse, ever, okay? Because horses are so strong. You could see all the muscles on this horse. This horse is so strong. That's why horses have been used for thousands and thousands of years to pull heavy things, including carriages with people in it, all kinds of heavy things. Horses are so strong and powerful, and this horse is just literally taking a nap, lying down and just sleeping, because horses can fall asleep lying down or standing up. In fact, I bet this horse is napping. That's what I bet this horse is napping. You're napping through our video. Hey, did you know? Ponies are smaller types of horses. You may have been watching this video and thought, when are they going to bring up the ponies, right? I love the ponies. Even though a pony's body is a little different as far as size goes, a pony is very, very similar to any other horse, being incredibly strong and incredibly smart. Which brings us to our final fact. Horses are incredibly smart. They're incredibly smart. Horses are able to communicate with each other through sounds and facial expressions. And horses have amazing problem-solving skills that can get them out of all kinds of jams. And sometimes it can get them in trouble, too. What amazing animals horses are. All right, horses are just so cool. And you know what? You have been doing a great job learning. Okay, next we are going to learn about another farm animal you might think of in this season. Sheep. Yeah, sheep. Sheep are one of the most common farm animals in the world. While some sheep live in the wild, most are taken care of by people. Wow, this sheep is really photogenic. And when we say common, we mean common. In fact, there are over 1 billion sheep in the world. Over 1 billion sheep in the world. There are tons of sheep. Tons of sheep. One of the biggest reasons that people love to raise sheep is because of their coat, which is made of something called wool. Wool is a wonderful thing to make clothing out of because it lasts long, it's durable, it's naturally fire resistant, which is really cool, and it's a very breathable material, which means it's very warm in the winter, but it's not too warm in the summer. Here's a picture of yarn that is made out of wool. Think of how many incredible things can be made from this yarn. Thank you, sheep. Thank you so much. Hey, wouldn't it be fun if we asked you a question right now? Alright, we have a trivia question for you to see if you already know the answer, okay? What do you call a person who takes care of sheep? Huh, that's a good question. What do you call a person who takes care of sheep? This sounds like a joke, but it's not. This is a trivia question. What do you actually call a person who takes care of sheep, okay? Yeah, someone who takes care of sheep is called a shepherd. A shepherd. A shepherd is someone who takes care of sheep. This shepherd is taking care of a group of sheep. A group of sheep is called a flock. This is a flock of sheep. The shepherd guards and protects the sheep to make sure they stay safe. Sheep have been known to wander and to get themselves into dangerous situations, so it's important for the shepherd to stay alert. Alright, now we're going to look at what different sheep are called. A female sheep is called a ewe. A ewe. That's what a female sheep is called. The spelling is a little weird with that. It's spelled E-W-E, but it's pronounced ewe. This ewe has 2 babies. Most ewes have either 1 or 2 babies at a time. Do you happen to know what a baby sheep is called? Yeah, a baby sheep is called a lamb. A lamb. Oh, look at this little lamb. Hey, where are your friends? You're all alone, little lamb. You know, where's everyone else? You know, where's the flock? You know, you guys need to stick together. You know, you need to know where the shepherd is and everything, alright? Just stick with the group, okay? You know? So, a female sheep is called a ewe, and baby sheep are called lambs. But what are male sheep called? Well, a male sheep is called a ram. A ram. They are easy to distinguish from the ewes because they're larger than ewes, and they have horns. Sheep, such peaceful animals. We love your wool, and we're amazed that there are over 1 billion of you on the planet. You know, there are a lot of you out there, you know, but just such nice farm animals. You know, don't worry, we're just watching you eat. Wow, tremendous job learning about sheep. Here is where our fall animal adventure takes a turn. We're going to learn about some creatures of the night. Next, we're going to learn about owls. Owls.
Let's start with this. Owls are nocturnal birds. Nocturnal means they mostly sleep in the day and are active at night. And as you can see, we don't mean this in a rude way, but let's be honest, owls are unique looking birds, okay? They are. They just are. They're unique looking birds. They have a flat face and have really big eyes. Their big eyes are perfect for seeing at night, which works really well for them because remember, owls are mostly active at night. Now, not only do their eyes help them see well at night, their eyes help them see things that are far away. In fact, owl eyes see things that are far away better than things that are close. Isn't that fascinating? So, owls are really cool birds that are nocturnal. That means they are active at night. They have flat faces and big eyes that help them see things in the dark and help them see things that are far away. Another helpful thing for owls is that they can turn their heads way further than we can. Do you see how this owl's head is turned back? They can turn their heads to see what is going on behind them, and with their super powerful eyes, they could see if they found prey. And they love finding prey. They just do. You know, as cute as owls are predators, okay? They're predators! Remember, predators are animals that hunt other animals. Owls love to hunt. In fact, they hunt and eat small mammals, reptiles, amphibians, fish, insects, and even other birds. Now check this out. Their beaks are sharp, and so are their talons. Plus, their wings are super quiet while they're flying. It's crazy. They're like quiet, silent flyers, okay? No wonder they're so good at it. They're like super sneaky. Who knew? Who knew? Raise your hand if you already knew that owls are sneaky, okay? Wow, how'd you even know that? Yeah, they're sneaky. So, their sharp talons and beak, their quiet wings, their ability to turn their heads far, their powerful eyes, and the fact that they hunt at night makes an owl a really good hunter. Uh-oh. Psst. Hey, little mousey. I get it. You're getting some food. It's at night. You know, you're hungry. And you think this is a good idea, right? This is kind of a terrible idea, okay? Not to be mean or anything, but there could be an owl coming and you don't even know it. They fly so quietly. Come on, mousey. Wow, let's talk about something else. Baby owls. What are baby owls called? Do you know? What are they called? Yeah, baby owls are called owlets. What a neat word, owlets. These are a few owlets. Isn't it amazing how cute they are? This owlet is like, hey everyone, just happy to be here. Take my picture.
I know I just asked you a question, but I'm going to ask you another one, okay? Another question about owls.
Here it is. Where in the world can you find owls? That's an interesting question. Do you happen to know? Where in the world can you find owls? This might surprise you, but owls live all over the world except for a few islands and the polar ice caps. They can live in many different habitats, even in extreme temperatures. Wow, owls are worldwide birds. Not only that, owls do not migrate to warmer climates. They just stay right where they are. These are tough birds. Owls stay where they are all year long. No migrating for this bird. Yeah, owls are tough. Well, actually, this owl just looks sleepy, but owls are tough birds. Now, we can't make a video about owls without talking about their signature sound. What do owls say? Yeah, owls often make a loud hoot sound. Hoot, hoot, hoot. Now, not every owl hoots, okay? Some owls don't hoot. Wouldn't that be sad to be an owl and, you know, not be able to hoot? You know, that's kind of sad, you know? But hey, if an owl can't hoot, owls can make other sounds too, like whistles, chirps, screeches, and more. These sounds allow owls to communicate. And different sounds mean different things. For example, when an owl hoots, it is claiming its territory. So the next time you hear an owl hoot, the owl might be saying to other owls, hey, this is my area, find your own area. This is where I am staying. Hoot, hoot, hoot.
Very cool. Owls are amazing. Next, we're going to learn about another creature that flies at night. Bats. Whoa, bats. The first fact we are going to learn about bats is that bats are mammals that fly. Yes, they are the only mammals that are capable of really, truly flying. They've got these wings, and they can maneuver so well. In fact, bats can maneuver in the air better than many birds can. And there are so many different types of these fascinating mammals around the world. In fact, there are over 1,200 species of bats in the world. Over 1,200 species. That means you could learn about a new type of bat every single day, and it would take you over 3 years to learn all of the different types of bats. For example, these two bats are fruit bats or flying foxes. They're called flying foxes because their faces remind people of foxes. They're almost like foxes that are flying in the air. And this is a very interesting type of bat. In fact, these bats can be as large as 4 pounds. Fruit bats, or another nickname of these bats are flying foxes, can get really huge. In fact, they are the biggest bats in the world. Then on the other side of the spectrum, Kitty's hognose bats are the smallest bats in the world. They only get to be about 2 grams, and you can see the size of the bat compared to this person's fingers. Wow, what a tiny bat! They are so small, they are actually nicknamed bumblebee bats because they are about the size of a large bumblebee. In fact, it is believed that these bats may be the smallest mammals in the world. The smallest mammals in the world. So bats can come in all different sizes, right? Oh my goodness, what are you looking at, flying fox, fruit bat? You're so huge, you might get up to be 4 pounds, you're a big bat, and you do look like a fox. That's really weird and really cool, all at the same time, bats are pretty cool. This is a fruit bat or a flying fox, whichever, term you want to use. Just like bats can vary in size, they can also vary in what they eat. Some bats eat some things, other bats eat other things. You see, many bats eat fruit like these guys. They're like, whoa, we're eating fruit. Why are you taking our picture? They are having a great time eating this fruit. Many bats eat fruit. Other bats eat insects. Some bats eat fruit and insects. They're like, hey, we like to eat bugs and fruit. They're all different types of diets that bats have. And some bats just drink blood. What? It's true, they're called vampire bats, and there are 3 different types of vampire bats. They live in Central and South America, so those are the only places in the world where you find vampire bats, and they usually bite other animals. They don't usually bite humans, so you don't have to be afraid of these, but they are fascinating, and it's true that they live on blood.
So there are so many different types of bats in the world, over 1,200 different types of bats. They come in different sizes, they eat different things, but now we're going to look at a bat joke. It seems like time for a bat joke, especially after talking about the vampire bats, okay? Okay, here's the joke. Why do bats love going to school? Why do bats love going to school? Because that's where they learn the alphabet. Oh my goodness. Get an alphabet instead of alphabet. Okay. Oh, yeah, it's pretty good, pretty good joke. Your friends will like it. Share it with them. They'll laugh. So, we have talked about how there are tons of bats, over 1,200 different types of bats, and most bats are harmless. They're not going to hurt you. They're not actually that scary. A lot of people are afraid of bats. In fact, bats are a symbol of the holiday Halloween. Some of the reasons why people are afraid of bats is that they are nocturnal. That means they are up at night and they sleep during the day, which kind of makes them sketchy, a little bit scary. A lot of people think they are dangerous, so they're flying around and they think that these flying mammals are really dangerous, but the vast majority of bats are not dangerous. In fact, even of the vampire bats, the ones that carry sickness are less than 1% of the vampire bats, which the vampire bats are just 3 of over 1,200 kinds of bats. Overall, bats are harmless creatures that do fly. They are awake at night, but they're friendly. They're just doing their own thing. By the way, the reason that bats like to fly away when people show up is because a lot of times bats are more afraid of us than we are of them. They just like to be alone, to be with their families, and to do what they want to do, So sometimes in caves, when people come in, the bats fly out because the bats are like, hey, we don't know about these human beings. So bats are pretty cool. They're fascinating creatures, and they're not actually that scary.
Great job learning about bats. They are so cool. And I almost can't believe it. Our fall animal adventure only has one creature left. That's right. The last creature might seem a little creepy. Next, we are going to learn about spiders. Yep, spiders.
Spiders are cool animals. I mean, look at this guy, our spider friend Gus, okay? How many legs does Gus have? Can you count them real quick? How many legs does Gus have? Yeah, he has 8 legs. He has 8 legs. In fact, all spiders have 8 legs, not just cute cartoonish spiders like Gus. All spiders have 8 legs. So if anyone asks, how many legs does a spider have? You gotta say 8 legs. All spiders have 8 legs. Now prepare to be shocked and amazed. The fact that spiders have 8 legs means spiders are not insects. Yeah, when you see a spider, the spider's not an insect. It's true, spiders are not insects. You see, insects have 6 legs, but spiders have 8 legs. Now, there are other differences too, but that's probably the easiest difference to spot the number of legs. Insects have 6 legs, and spiders have 8 legs. If spiders are not insects, then what are spiders? What are spiders? What type of animal is a spider? Well, spiders are arachnids. Can you say that word with us? Arachnids. Yeah, arachnids. Spiders are arachnids. Arachnids are very similar to insects, which is why people sometimes get confused. Okay, so spiders have 8 legs, and they are arachnids, not insects. Really interesting. But what are some other interesting facts that we can learn about these incredible creatures? You might be familiar with this. What is this? Yeah, this is a spider web. A spider web. Spider webs are made of silk. Isn't that awesome? Spiders make the silk themselves, and they use the silk to make these elaborate spider webs, which almost look like works of art, but are there to catch prey. And you can see that this spider actually already caught something right in the middle of the web. Sometimes spiders leave their webs and don't use them anymore. If there's a web that's not being used by a spider anymore, that's called a cobweb. Have you ever seen a cobweb before? Cool. But not all spiders make webs. For example, tarantulas. Tarantulas are spiders that don't make spider webs. Just like all of the other spiders, tarantulas produce silk. They just don't use them for spider webs. Tarantulas like to sneak up on their prey and attack. In fact, the biggest tarantulas are able to eat mice, bats, birds, and even snakes. Hey Gus, we've been learning about you. We've been learning about spiders. Did you know that spiders are found on every continent of the world except Antarctica? Okay, all over the place. Spiders are all over the place. And it's actually really important that spiders are all over the world. You see, spiders are very helpful to us human beings. You see, spiders eat things like flies, mosquitoes, roaches, fleas, and much, much more. It's important for us to have spiders around because we need flies to get eaten, and mosquitoes, and roaches, and fleas. It's very important. Thank you, spiders. You really are our helpers. You're so helpful. You're so catch those mosquitoes. Catch them. Catch them. You're so helpful, spiders. As we wrap this up, we do want to mention one thing to you. It's important for us to remember that most spiders don't like to mess with us. They like to leave us alone. We're really big, and spiders just know that they're not able to eat us. But if we go near them or touch them or mess with their things, then they might get frustrated with us. So it's important to leave spiders alone. And if you see a spider inside, let an adult know. That's very, very, very important because you don't know what type of spider you're dealing with.
So cool. And you know what? That's it. You have completed this fall animal adventure. You learned a ton. Congratulations. Well done. It's official. You are a fall animal expert. Okay. Anything to add, Mr. Whiskers? Anything to add? Okay. I'll take that as a no. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Thanks for learning about these animals with me. Whoa! If you had fun and haven't yet, you could always click that subscribe button. I have a lot of videos. Thank you to my patrons who make videos like this possible. I appreciate it. And thank you all for watching. This was a blast. You are awesome. I'll see you next video.